The Wheel of Time. Maybe you've heard of it? Whether you're a new fan because of Amazon Prime's TV show, or whether you're just curious about what all the fuss is, we're here to talk about where you should begin with Robert Jordan's epic fantasy masterpiece. Let's take a look. Welcome to the Wheel of Time Community Show, produced by Dragonmount.com. I'm your host, Kitty. Before we start, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. This video is intended for people who are new or curious about the Wheel of Time. Maybe you've heard about the books but have never had a chance to read them. Or maybe you've been following the Amazon Prime TV show. Whatever your reason, we're glad that you're here, and we're going to give you a little guidance on where to begin reading the books. By our count, there are 6 possible places that you could begin with the series. That might seem daunting, but we'll talk about each one. The first place that most people begin reading The Wheel of Time is with the original first book in the series, The Eye of the World. Published in January of 1990, this is where we recommend you begin. You can find the book published worldwide. In the US and Canada, there's a beautiful 30-year anniversary edition now available. The Eye of the World is where the primary story begins. All of the other starting points that we'll mention later in this video can be returned to at a later time. So, if you just want a quick answer on where to start, dive into The Eye of the World. By the way, if you've been following the Amazon Prime TV show, be aware that Season 1 primarily covers the events of the first book. The second potential starting point for The Wheel of Time is a slightly lesser-known edition of The Eye of the World that contains a bonus chapter at the very beginning. This bonus chapter, called Ravens, was added in 2002 when Robert Jordan's publisher, Tor Books, decided to split the first novel, which is really lengthy, into 2 parts in order to make it more accessible for younger readers. Back at that time, the Harry Potter books were at the top of every bestseller chart, so many publishers were looking for ways to tap into that market of voracious young readers. Each part of the divided first book was given a title. The first part was called From the Two Rivers. It contained the first half of The Eye of the World. You can still find this book online or available in some stores under this title. Just to be clear, this book, From the Two Rivers, and the other divided parts, contain the same content as the original Eye of the World novel. The only exception is From the Two Rivers is only the first half of the original novel, and it contains the bonus Ravens chapter. Oh, remember the 30th edition cover I mentioned before? That version of the book includes the Ravens prologue as well, making it, once again, the best place to start if you want to read The Wheel of Time. The next potential starting point in The Wheel of Time is a novel called New Spring. This book, which was first published in 2003, is a prequel novel to the series. And if you really want to go down the rabbit hole, it started out as a shorter, novella-sized story in the Legends anthology published in 1998, but was later expanded to a full-length novel. But we can talk about that another time. Or you can check the Dragonmount.com New Spring book history page for more info. New Spring is a wonderful story that mostly stands alone by itself. You can definitely read it first before starting with the other books. Many fans came to the series this way. But, as enjoyable as the book is, we feel that the book is best enjoyed after you're familiar with the characters, the world, and the cultures that the series has to offer. In fact, some fans have reported that they read New Spring after the conclusion of the main series, and that it served as a nice way to ease themselves out of the intense finale of the final book. Speaking of New Spring, there's also a graphic novel version of this book. The script for the comic was written by the legendary comic book writer Chuck Dixon, and the art was done by Mike Miller. All of the imagery in this graphic novel was done in collaboration with Robert Jordan himself before he died. So, if you thrive on a visual media, this is a quick and enjoyable way to become familiar with Robert Jordan's world. This graphic novel is an adaptation of The Eye of the World, Once again, comic book writer Chuck Dixon adapted the script, and this time the art was done by Chase Conley. Like the New Spring graphic novel, this is a fun way to introduce yourself to the world and the story. I wouldn't recommend that you read this graphic novel and use it as a substitute for the book it's adapted from, but this is a quick and fun way to start out. Finally, if really books just aren't your thing, that is okay. You can experience The Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime. The first season adapts the first book, so you could, in theory, watch that first and then dive into book 2 for the series, which is entitled The Great Hunt. So there you have it. 6 great ways to begin your journey into The Wheel of Time. If you're still not sure, just pick up the first book and give it a try. You won't regret it. So, let me ask you, where did you begin your journey with The Wheel of Time? And where would you recommend that new fans start their journeys? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, I'm Kitty. Bye-bye.
Thanks for sticking around to the end. As always, subscribe, click the thumbs up, leave a comment. You know we like the comments, especially the positive ones. If you got a friend that likes The Wheel of Time, tell them about our show. Tell them about Dragonmount.com. I want to give a special thanks to our sponsor, Tor Book, as well as all of our Patreon supporters. If you want to learn more about how our show gets made, maybe get some additional insights into The Wheel of Time, become a Patreon supporter. We have grand plans for the show, and all of your contributions will go a long way to making them happen. And make sure to follow Dragonmount on all the social media. Thanks. Peace.